Lesson 23, solving two-step equations. When we have a two-step equation, there are some processes that you need to go through. Or if you use these, it'll help you to solve these types of equations. So first, you need to use inverse operations if an equation has two operations. In the reverse, and reverse the order of the operations as well. So your first step is always to add and subtract. And the second is always to multiply and divide, because you always want to move all the constants away first. And then your last step is to remove the coefficients. So don't touch the variables until the very last step. Let's take a look at some examples. 2x minus 2 for x equals 4. So these are just plain expressions, and we're just substituting the number in for the variable. So we're going to substitute 4 in for this x. So 3 times 4 and minus 2. 3 times 4 is 12. 12 minus 2 would be 10. Next one, 3x minus 2 equals 10. We want to see how x does equal 4. So again, our first step is to add or subtract. So the opposite of subtracting 2 is adding 2. I add 2 to both sides, and I get 3x equals 12. Now to get our variable by itself, you do the opposite of multiplying by 3, which is divide by 3. So x will end up equaling 4. So these are the exact same problems. The one on the left is telling you what x equals, and you have to solve the expression. The one on the right, they give you an equation, and you have to solve for the variable. Let's try another one. 9y plus 6 for y is 2. So substitute 2 in for y. So we have 9 times 2 plus 6. 18 plus 6 would give us 24. Let's do it with if we were given this equation. So again, I do the adding and subtracting first. So the opposite of adding 6 is subtracting 6. So I subtract 6 on both sides, and I am with 9y equals 18. To get y by itself, I do the opposite of multiplying by 9, which is divide by 9. 18 divided by 9, y equals 2. And another example here. Now it's strictly all equations. We don't know what the variable is. So let's solve for the variable x. So again, I subtract 5. And I do that on both sides to go over with algebra. So all I have left on the left-hand side is just 4x equals 17 minus 5, which is 12. The x by itself, I divide by 4 on both sides. X equals 3. And I can always check my answer by plugging that back in. 4 times 3 is 12. 12 plus 5 is 17. Well, on the right, the opposite of subtracting 4 is adding 4. So I add 4 to both sides. So 8w equals 32. To get w by itself, I divide by 8. I do that on both sides. W equals 4. Again, I can check my answer. 8 times 4 is 32. 32 minus 4 is 28. Another example. Here, everything's just flipped. Still do the same exact thing. It's just you're going to be working from right to left. So the opposite of adding 6 is subtracting 6. I do that on both sides. 8 minus 6 is 2. All I have left on the right-hand side is a negative 5m. To get m by itself, I do the opposite, which is divide by negative 5. I do that on both sides. M would equal a negative 2/5. On the right, opposite of adding 12 is subtracting 12. So I subtract 12 on both sides. And I'm getting a negative 22 equals a negative 2x. To get x by itself, I divide by a negative 2. X would equal a positive 11, because a negative divided by a negative is a positive. Next example, these are dealing with fractions. And since we have fractions, we should have our answer in fractions. So there are a couple ways of doing this. We could get common denominators first, or we could eliminate the denominators by multiplying by the common factor or the common denominator. And that's what I'm going to do right here. So I'm going to multiply all of this. The common denominator of 2, 3, and 4 is 12. So I'm going to multiply everything by 12 to get rid of the denominator. So 12 divided by 2 is 6. And then I have 6 times 1, n, gives me 6n. 12 divided by 3 is 4. So 4 times 1 is 4. Bring my minus sign down. 12 divided by 4 is 3. So I multiply 3 times 3 gives me 9. And now I'm with an easier expression to solve. So now I need to get rid of this 4. So I do the opposite. So I add 4 to both sides. And I get 6n equals 9 plus 4 is 13. To get n by itself, I divide by 6 on both sides. N would equal 13/6. The other side, here I'm going to show you how you can keep the fractions in there, but we just have to rewrite it so you have common denominators of the ones that you're adding and subtracting. So I'm going to keep this as 1/8 m minus 3/4 and 7/12. The common denominator is 12ths. So if I multiply this by 3/3, I get 9/12 equals 7/12. Now the opposite of subtracting 9/12 is adding 9/12. So if I add 9/12 to both sides, I end up with 1/8 m equals 7 plus 9 is 16/12. And then the opposite of multiplying by 1/8 is dividing by 8, which really means multiply by the reciprocal, which is 8/1. That leaves me with just m over here. Multiply this by 8/1. And I can simplify. I can divide a 4 here and get 2. Divide a 4 here and you get 3. And you end up with 32/3. And that would be my answer. Example 5, an application. A gym charges a $90 fee plus $30 per month. Another gym charges a fee of $1,500. About how many years will it take for the charges at the first gym to reach $1,500? So first I need to write an equation or an expression. So I'm going to have a gym charges a $90 fee plus $30 per month. So $30 per month. So I'm just going to do 30m plus a $90 fee. This has to equal $1,500. So now I need to solve for m. So I'm going to subtract 90 on both sides. And now I have 30m equals 1,410. To get m by itself, I divide by 30. Divide by 30. So 1410 divided by 30 gives us 47. So m equals 47 months, but they want our answer in years. So to find out how many years that would be, there's 12 months in a year. We have 47. So I got to take my 47 and divide that by 12. And that'll tell us about how many years it would take. So 47 divided by 12 is 3.91. So we would say it would take about 4 years for it to reach the $1,500 mark. And the last question, the Green family conserves energy by using energy efficient bulbs. They pay $125 for energy efficient bulbs. If the family saves $7 per month on their electricity bill and the power company gives them a rebate of $25, in about how many months will they have paid for the bulbs? So here we need to write our equation. So they save $7 per month, so I'm going to say 7M, and they give them a rebate of 25. So they pay you $25. They give you $25 back. So I'm going to say they gain $25 back. This has to equal a total of $125. So the $7 per month that they save plus the $25 that they get back should equal 125. So now we solve for M, so I subtract 25 on both sides, and I get 7M equals 100. To get M by itself, I divide by 7, and because it says about, I'm estimating. So 100 divided by 7 equals about 14.2. So we would say it's about 14 months.